Today we have a fantastic guest with us. We have the Italian ambassador, His Excellency Ambassador Stefano Pontecorvo, to join us in our program today. Thank you, Ambassador, and welcome to our program today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
To start off the interview, I'd like to know your background. You've have been your first posting here as ambassador to Pakistan. How have you come to Pakistan? What's been your diplomatic career in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, I've had a lot of Europe and a lot of multilateral. I was twice in Moscow, Brussels EU, Brussels NATO. I had some exposure to Africa as a Deputy Director General for Africa. I was in London, and then I was diplomatic advisor to the Defense Minister. And having had a lot of Europe, I thought it was a time to come to where things are happening, which is Southeast Asia.
Fabulous. We were talking before the interview, and you had mentioned that you have some experience in Pakistan before that. Could you elaborate on that, please?
Yes, I lived here as a kid. I was from '68 to 1970. You probably weren't even born yet. And Islamabad was a small town at the time. Everything was in Rawalpindi, and Islamabad was there was, I think, G6 and F7. And they were wonderful years. I have wonderful memories, and so I was very glad to be. That was one of the reasons which brought me back.
Fabulous. In your introduction and in your background, you mentioned that you've been posted at several stations in Europe during your career. How have you seen Pakistan to be different with those stations and postings in Europe?
It is. It's quite different because the region is different. People are different. The job is different. The job in Europe is a lot more political. The mission I've set for myself here is a lot more economical. I mean, I was considered a security expert in Balkans. Effectively, I'm a lot more interested in the economic side of issues, and that's why I'm here.
Great. You mentioned that you'd like to focus more on the economic side. As a new ambassador to Pakistan officially, what policy objectives or goals have you laid out for yourself that you'd like to accomplish in your tenure?
I have a very, very simple goal, which is twofold. It's to put Italy back on Pakistan's map and Pakistan back on Italy's map, particularly economically.
You mentioned that you'd like to bring both back economically, which definitely would help the growth of both countries. But how do you perceive that you can accomplish that, considering that we have a fairly unfortunate low trade volume between the two countries?
Well, it's not a low trade volume, it's a ridiculously low trade volume. Last year was for Italy probably the worst year on record. We exported only 512 billion euros of stuff, of exports. Of that, 800 million went to Pakistan only. And being this a country of 200 million inhabitants, and with a middle class which is bigger than the whole of France as a population, it is simply a situation which can't go on. And there are so many objective complementarities between the Italian economy and the Pakistani economy that I do believe I will have not an easy job in doing that, but that all the preconditions for success are there.
But the preconditions are there, but what kind of gaps are you looking to bridge in the economic relations between Italy and Pakistan? What particular sectors or what areas are you looking to highlight or focus on?
The first gap is the perception gap. Pakistan is the best kept secret, one of the best kept secrets in the world now, because it is really a very promising economy. It's a very promising country. Politically, it is stable. The security situation is improving, and the economy is improving also. There is a lot of entrepreneurship here, and as I was saying before, there is an objective complementarity between the Italian and the Pakistani economy, which is for all to see. For example, you are an agricultural country. We produce about 70% of farm machinery and implements which are produced in Europe are produced in Italy. We have the biggest agro-industrial district in Europe is around Bologna, Cesena, and all that. Then textiles, we make the I would say, being an Italian, and I don't think anybody can contest that, we make among the best machinery for textiles in the world. We make some very good, excellent actually. We have excellent technology in leather, the work of leather shoes, bags, and so on. Renewable energies, we have the highest mix in Europe of renewable energies against fossil energies. We have an automotive industry which is well known the world over, with brands like Fiat, Ferrari, Lamborghini. It'll be maybe a bit too soon to bring in Lamborghini and Ferrari, but Fiat certainly should. We have some very good engineering and infrastructure companies. We're looking now to assist in dredging the port of Gwadar, for example. We have top-notch and cutting-edge technology in the mining industry. Here you have 177 different marbles and stones which are renowned the world over, and you lose 70 to 80% of that because you do the blasting. So if we manage to get in these sectors and a number of others, cooperation going, it will go. It will go well.
I mean, the majority of the sectors that you've just discussed, being agriculture, leather, renewable energy, automobiles, those are also areas that Pakistan has a significant size of business as well, especially in the agriculture and leather trade as well. Why hasn't this relationship already been at the optimum or maximum potential it can reach? Like, I mean, there's still room for improvement, but how come, what have been the hindrances towards already building those relations between those two sectors?
There have been hindrances on both sides. The first is the perception of Pakistan as the security situation of Pakistan, which, as I say, is getting better and better. And the second is the structure of the Italian economy, which is based on small and medium-sized enterprises. And with the fact that our markets were in front of us, our traditional markets are Africa and Eastern Europe. However, now in the manufacturing industry, with the margins which continue to come down because of competitiveness, you need to look at scale of the markets you're entering. And from that point of view, there are 10 countries in the world which have over 100 million inhabitants. 6 of these countries are around Pakistan, Pakistan being one of them. And so Pakistan is, especially with the famous corridor being built, and it will be built, is becoming a hub of a region of 3.2 billion inhabitants. So you need to come here.
I mean, definitely, we've been speaking economics, and that seems to be very high on your agenda. A recent roadshow also took place called Doing Business with Italy. Could you elaborate on that, like what exactly that roadshow is and what it means for the relations between the two countries?
I think it will be one of the turning points, actually, because we have this roadshow now, and on the 5th of April we will have the chairman of BOI and the trade minister together with a consistent number of Pakistani businessmen going to Rome to showcase Pakistan and the opportunities. The roadshow is held by the Italian Association for Foreign Trade. I remind you that I already had our trade commissioner here in December, I think it was. And they are looking at opportunities, and they're going back with a full book of opportunities of cooperation. They represent over 800 Italian companies of small, medium, and large companies in nearly all the sectors which we have discussed. And they're coming back and they're seeking for potential partners in Pakistan, and they are absolutely, overwhelmed by the response they got and by the level and the quality of the people they talk to. So they will be coming back in 3 months' time, and at that point I hope to see a number of deals signed, because there are some very concrete possibilities of going forward and having inward investment by Italian companies and not only trade.
Well, this definitely sounds like an area where Pakistani businessmen can also export their products to Italy. So Have any steps been taken to facilitate this trade as far as Pakistani exporters are concerned and opening the Italian market to Pakistani business community?
There certainly is, and there certainly is. On that we can build upon the second Pakistani community in Europe, which lives in Italy. There are 120,000 people, extremely well integrated into the Italian economy and into Italian society. There are Pakistani entrepreneurs who are actually setting up businesses and hiring Italians, which I find is a sign of the times, and it's a wonderful thing. And we are looking at exporting to Pakistani products, but not, as we have done until now, the raw materials. We would like to have some added value products. The ideal would be to get joint ventures of Italian companies here in the areas we mentioned, and start exporting, semis, and not only stop at raw materials.
I mean, a lot of just to elaborate further on the point, a lot of Pakistan's sector is involved between the agriculture sector and the manufacturing sector. Are there any other specific areas, as you said, that you wouldn't like, to move beyond the raw products? So, are there any particular industry sectors that you'd like to focus on, or is it just more so in terms of just trades, or are there any particular
No, listen, Pakistan is a huge opportunity in all the sectors. It makes sense at the beginning it makes sense to me at least, to focus on the sectors in which we have an objective complementarity, which are the ones we have moved on. So the strategy we are following in the Italian embassy is a very simple one. On one side, we're trying to bring in, and with quite a success, big Italian companies. MAPEI, which is the biggest European company of construction materials and chemicals for construction, and they make also tiles and so on. They have opened shop in Islamabad a couple of weeks ago, and they're expanding in other 28 cities, Pakistani cities, with a Pakistani partner, Cheresol. MAPEI is, as I say, the biggest European company of the sector, is active in 72 countries and has 68 plants worldwide. And they are thinking of, first they are establishing themselves here, and they're thinking of producing in Pakistan. So that's one. Then we have a Danieli, which is a world-renowned a steel mill maker, and works for all the biggest steel companies in the world, and they're looking at a deal with Agha Steel, and as we speak. Then we're bringing in another big company which is talking in farm machinery and implements. They are talking to Alico, and the fourth, in the beginning of May, we will have Fiocchi, which is the biggest munition maker in Italy, who will be here. The CEO is coming to look at a possible joint venture, I would say a probable joint venture, with Pakistan Ordnance Factory. It's not only a military issue, it's also, they make munitions for sports and for hunting and so on. So when big companies come to a country, the smaller companies look and see. Then we complement that with roadshows like the ones we are having now. This association is the best of its kind in Italy. It has export-oriented and investment-oriented companies in it. And as I say, they were very, very favorably impressed by the business climate there is here, the quality of the production, and in general of the investment and trade ambience there is in this country.
That sounds fabulous, that there's so many opportunities for both Italian and Pakistani businessmen to cross borders and to start a very vibrant trade relationship between the two countries. I believe there's also a Pakistan Trade and Investment Forum which is going to be held in Rome next month, I believe. So, what are the goals and objectives of that forum, though? What particular are you trying to gain from that forum?
We're trying to showcase Pakistan.
Okay.
So, because Pakistan is a not well-known entity as an economic entity in Italy, there are really so many sectors which can be exploited. The chairman of BOI will be there, Mr. Miftah Ismail, together with 2025 Pakistani businessmen. There will be business-to-business meetings. The Commerce Minister, I understand, has also decided to go. The Punjab Board of Trade and Investment, which is an outstanding outfit. I met this afternoon with the Chief Minister, and before I had a meeting with the with the Punjab Board of Investment, and we are finding so many opportunities in all fields.
You mentioned the B2B business-to-business community. What exactly is the current relationship between the two, and how is the embassy facilitating or nurturing this relationship?
This is a nascent experience in the sense that until now there have been very few Italian companies interested in the market. There are a lot more than we thought, but there are companies, for example, which outsource their Italian companies outsource their products to Sialkot rather than to Faisalabad, rather than to Gujarat, Lahore, and so on. What we're looking for now is to build upon this and to make businessmen meet. I can say that in these 3 days, I've seen already 6-7 deals which are ready to be signed in the next days, because there is such an objective complementarity between certain businesses. Packaging is another one which I hadn't mentioned. Food processing I did mention, and fertilizers. There is here we have
the sports sector in Sialkot.
Sports sector, but yes, that that is a sector which goes by itself. It's going very well, but we need to get going our sectors which are not at the mature stage, and in which we can add value in Pakistan to Pakistani exports and have Italian investments here, which then create a bond and create interest in the country, for which others come and look, and when they come and look, they remain convinced. I've seen a couple of big companies which came here for one day and were prodded to come, and so I won't say who they are. And okay, they came not very convinced, and then instead of staying a day, they stayed for a week and come back periodically. So actually, the idea is to get people here and unveil the secret, and then the rest comes by itself.
Great. Well, bringing people here is definitely one part of the relationship, but it being a two-way street, there would obviously be businessmen who would enjoy tapping into the Italian market. How does your embassy facilitate businessmen who would like to take their products or manufacturing business and expand them to your market?
We do that mainly through our trade promotion agency. We have reopened our office in Karachi after 9 years that it had been closed. We facilitate the travel of these businessmen, especially in occasion of fairs and expositions. In most cases, we pay the tickets and organize the business venues, and something always comes out of it.
Great. Well, you had also mentioned the automobile industry, and I know Pakistan may not be up to the mark for Lamborghinis and Ferraris at this point, but how do you see Fiat coming into Pakistan? Is it difficult? I mean, it's been in the pipelines. We've always been hearing Fiat it will be coming to Pakistan, but haven't seen anything yet. Where does that relationship, the automobile relationship, lie at this point?
I would love to see Fiat come here, and I have actually contacted the chairman, the CEO of Fiat, and the Fiat, the establishment of Fiat. The problem that we have here is, for now, the dimensions of the market, because last year Pakistan produced, according to the official figures, assembled actually, 176,000 cars. Now, to get into the market, you need a market bigger than that one to start, thinking of investments in the automotive sector. Even though there are here assemblers and plants which would be ready to receive them, and there's a very vibrant and a very qualitatively high auto parts making industry, the investments which are needed to get into a market as a producer are investments which need to take account of the scale of the market. The scale of the market is as yet, according to European producers, the dimensions of the market are not yet attractive enough to warrant a direct investment here. I am sure, however, that we will see some kind of presence by Italian automakers here, and that can be a first step towards establishing themselves in the country.
No, definitely. I mean, well, automobiles may have a small quantity, but there's also room for investment in terms of tractors. So, I mean, Fiat tractors are also used a lot, actually, in Pakistan's agricultural sector.
Yes. You have here Fiat tractors, CNH actually. It's Chase New Holland, although it's New Holland. It's actually an Italian company, and it's a spin-off of it's what used to be Fiat Agri. They're already here, and they're assembling tractors through Al Ghazi. We are working towards bringing in other big Italian companies, and actually we're working towards bringing the biggest Italian company of all. We are talking to a firm from Lahore, and which will be present on the 5th of April in Rome, and from there they will go and talk to Alico. I'm talking about Alico, which has its production line here. I went to visit it yesterday, and they will be talking to this Italian company when they go to Italy, and so certainly there will be progress on that field.
Okay. Another area that I was actually fairly intriguing is that Pakistan imports a lot of marbles and stone from Italy, but unfortunately the volume has sort of decreased over these. Is there any specific reason why you see that this trade has fallen, or how we can boost it again?
It has because we are extracting a lot less marble, because we're kind of finishing ours. Since Michelangelo's time we have been extracting marble. I'd like to do it the other way around, actually, which I'd like Italians to come here. Here you have some world-class stones. Our markets for marble are close to you, which are the China, Russia, and the Gulf. So it makes eminent sense for Italians to come here, help in joint venture with the Pakistanis, extract the stone, bringing in our technology, polishing the stones, working them, and then exporting them from here, rather than taking the raw material back home, shipping it back, and then shipping it to our markets. So I'm not working to revive the trade from Italy. I'm working to revive or to help the Pakistani industry not lose 80% of what it's losing now because of the blasting, and bringing in the Italian techniques and Italian machinery to develop the industry. And to this I add that so much we believe in the potential of Italian and Pakistani cooperation in this sector, that we have set up a $20 million facility for technical assistance in the sector, with which we are looking at creating a couple of schools, institutes to teach the techniques on Italian machines, from quarry masters to polishers and so on, and try to get as much of the process and the value added in the country, and then export from there. So that's a win-win situation if it works.
Has this project started, or is it still in the pipeline for the mining of marbles and stones here?
The money is there. So the money is there. Now we are working on finding the right partners to do so. There are a few of them. The mines, there are about 2,000 mines in Pakistan, so it means 2,000 owners. And so we need to find, this is a provincial and federal. So I mean, I've been here 5 months, so I'm still trying to get my head around the whole thing. And but it will start off. What I'm doing is I'm taking sector by sector. So the mining sector is actually the third of my sectors. The first one apart from the companies which are here now, is agriculture and agri-industry, because I know exactly what to do and how to do it. Then we're going on to the mining and the leather, and so I hope by June I'll have a clear idea on what we're doing.
We'll probably call you in for another interview in June at that time.
I'm always
fabulous.
Always
Another
ready.
question I had, since we were on the topic of marbles and stones, is that Italy has fantastic historical sites like the Colosseum, the Pantheon. Pakistan too has a very rich history as far as historical sites are concerned, but unfortunately they haven't been looked after as well as those sites in Italy. And Italian archaeologists are already in Pakistan currently. They're in Sindh, they're in Balochistan. Is there any space for Italian archaeologists to look after and sort of help Pakistan revive these kind of historical sites to the grand buildings that they were, developed accordingly?
We're doing that. I mean, I understand the problem because we are, as you're saying, we are the country which has about 70% of UNESCO recognized heritage is in Italy. We simply don't have the money to keep our own heritage in, but we have, as you say, a lot of expertise. We are already doing something on that. We are restoring parts of the walled city of Multan. That is a $12 million enterprise, and Politecnico of Milan is heading the project. It's going very well. I have been to Multan to see it. I'm going back to Multan to see how the Italian government money is being spent. We are moderately satisfied that things are going forward. As you were saying, we have been involved. The Tucci is a household name for many Pakistanis. We've been involved in a lot of discoveries of Pakistani heritage. We'll see what we can do to come back, but this, I mean, we are willing to put in more money and more expertise on, Lahore, the walled city of Lahore, Multan itself, and other sites also.
No, it sounds great. I know we've been speaking a lot about the economy of Pakistan and Italy, though. But one point that I actually wanted to bring on board is that you had mentioned that the CPEC would be a game changer for Pakistan. How do you perceive that to be a game changer? And do you think that Italy has a potential possibility to benefit from if the Western routes opened up for Pakistan and China?
Well, it certainly does. Well, it will be a game changer because Pakistan will become a transit route. And when you become a transit route, you become also a hub of a region of 3.2 billion people. I mean, it's do the math. It's really simple. Italian companies do have a role in both in the corridor itself. We have some very good construction companies. We have some very good electric companies. We have very good electric turbine companies. We have some very good railroad companies. So they can be involved in the corridor itself. And then there's all the spin-offs and everything that with the richness which the corridor brings with. I mean, you need services, you need consumer goods, you need everything that you need. When you enhance, it is as with the very banal image, tide that rises all boats, and that is why we need to get in quick because the money is being spent, and we would like to be part of it.
Well, thank you for being in our show. We've had a fantastic conversation on the vision that you have.
That's because the journalist is very good.
But you have a fantastic vision in terms of carrying Pakistan and Italy's economy forward. And I really hope under your ambassadorship that we do see positive change in both economies, though, because it is the need of the hour at this point. But on a lighter side, though, I'd like to take your understanding on the city of Lahore, since we do represent Lahore with this news channel as well. What are your thoughts and feelings about Lahore? How do you feel when you're in this city?
This is a great city. In fact, I've been here, I think, more times here than anywhere else in Pakistan. I've been here 5 times in the last 2 months. It's both interesting. It's more than interesting, both on the cultural side. We have sponsored the Lahore Literary Festival. We are sponsoring in a big way the Mountain Film Festival. We're bringing in Simone Moro, who together with his Pakistani colleague Ali and a Spanish climber have for the first time in history climbed the Nanga Parbat in the winter. We're bringing in hopefully Tamara Lungar, who is the only lady in the world, well, together with a Pakistani alpinist, who has conquered more than 4 peaks over 8,000 meters. We are bringing in Simone Nardi, and we're bringing, actually Daniele Nardi, the name is, who is another very well-known alpinist in the alpinistic world. We're bringing in our own television, our sports television, to cover the event. So it's very vibrant from the cultural point of view. From the business point of view, it's a place to be. It's the industry is here. The industry which interests me is here. It's here. It's in Sialkot, it's Faisalabad, it's in Gujarat. It's all places which is a couple of hours from here. So it's extremely interesting. I haven't seen much of it yet because I have meetings one after the other, but I will come back and ask political asylum to to the chief minister and stay a week without doing anything.
Thank you. Well, it was a pleasure on having you on our show, and we definitely hope we get to see more of you, and with the same vigorous and passion that you have for the relationship, we wish you all the success in your mission.
Thank you very much.
Your Excellency. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.